Hello, thank you for joining me tonight on another episode of Coming On Live. Today, the time is 10:15 p.m. my time, but I am here live to talk. How is everybody doing? Happy Tuesday from here. And I just wanted to say today we had our live webinar. I am sorry, I didn't specifically, send an invite, but the replay is out, so you can still go ahead and watch it. I don't think you missed anything much if you still watch the replay. But tonight, live, the topic today that I want to discuss is if you had 2 extra hours a day, what would you do? That is, like, if you suddenly had 2 extra hours every day, what would you do with them? With the 2 hours, what would you do with them? And this is a topic, so very important, because some people will be like, oh, I am so stressed, I am busy and all of that. But if you happen to have 2 extra hours to yourself in a day, what would you do? Would you use it to rest, sleep? Would you use it for family time? Would you use it to exercise? Would you use it to learn something new? Or would you use it to build something for the future? Would you travel with it? Would you start a business? If you had 2 extra hours, would you just be present, or would you, what would you do when you have just all of a sudden you start having 2 extra hours to your time? Most people will answer differently, right? Because everybody's needs are different. But I am sure nobody will say if they had 2 extra hours all of a sudden that they would use it to work. And that's powerful. Nobody will say, I'll use it to work. When I say work, as in work more, as in your job. That's what I mean. I doubt if anybody would answer that if they had 2 extra hours to their time, that they would use it to work more, as in job. So, but we have to be aware of this. Time is the real currency. Time is the real currency. So I need us to be aware of that. Time is the most limited resource. Money can be earned again, but time, you can never get time back again. Once time passes, time goes forward. You can never get it back again. So most people don't lack ambition, they lack margin, right? They lack margin. People aren't lazy. People are exhausted. So time, you can never earn time back again. Time waits for nobody, right? So me as an immigrant, if I had more time, or I remember those years, or that time, I still do it. And as a healthcare professional, as an immigrant, with a lot of responsibilities, with a lot of people looking up to you, with people like in Africa, in Nigeria, like you're never alone. So you have your immediate family, you have extended family, you have like cousins, even up to 4th generation, 5th generation, you have friends. So it's never all about, you. So it's always you taking care of yourself and still thinking of other people that you are supporting. So when you work, shifts, work overtime, because of multiple responsibilities, because of family obligations here in the Western world and back home in our country of birth. So we are constantly being on, doing something, always not having enough time. But many of us don't just work jobs, we carry families, immediate and extended, and even, like I keep saying, even friends and friends of friends, and even extended up until fourth, fifth generation. So for me, if I had more time, what I did in the past would be, okay, work more until I became more aware of, that time is scarce, and having that feeling of looking for options, building options, doing something different. I wanted to spend more time with my family. I wanted to just be that present mom. I wanted to be that present spouse. I wanted to be able to rest more. I wanted to be able to take care of myself. So when I started my online business and going forward with my online business, right? What do I do with my 2 extra hours? I use my 2 extra hours of time to build my online business. Yes. So spend those 2 hours building my business, because I am building a sustainable future. I'm building a future of freedom. I'm building something flexible. I'm building something that will actually give me that time so that I can, be there for myself and for my family. So if I have 2 extra hours, I will use it to build my online business. I'll use it to learn, because in this business, we are constantly learning, tech skills, digital skills, advancing my knowledge and advancing my experience, understanding more, more things on how to run a business successfully, how to run a long-term business, how to run a sustainable business, how to understand what it means to be a business person. So if I had 2 hours, extra 2 hours, I will use it to build, add it to my business, add it to learning something and creating space to think. I didn't realize how valuable 2 hours were until I didn't have them. But now I know, I understand it. So I know what to use my 2 hours for. And it will be to build my business so that I'll continue to have time flexibility. Right? So, and how do people get time back? How do you get that time back? What do you do to get those 2 extra hours or more hours and all of that? And it will be more about doing a business, starting a business, working on a business, having a business that requires no selling, right? So no selling. When you are not selling, you are gaining time back. When you are not doing a business, you are now reducing dependence on overtime. So how do you get 2 hours back? Or how do you create that? Is by reducing dependence on overtime. Is by creating leveraged income. And how do you create leveraged income? You create leveraged income by maybe so building a system, having a team, creating a team, maybe online digital marketing, network marketing, that gives you that time back. In the process of doing it, once it's so you have accumulated hours, establishing the business, establishing a team, and the leverage income, when you create that leverage income, then you have your time back, because sometimes you get to a point, whether you work, whether you lift a finger, whether you do nothing, you will still be earning. People get to that stage. But it doesn't just happen right away. It happens by you creating that opportunity because you are thinking, future for about the future. You are future oriented. You are thinking, okay, you will work now to create a future where you won't be able to work, like where you don't have to, things will still be happening for you, whether you work or not. And that's where the automation system comes in as well. Because the automation system is you set things in motion. You work, set things in motion, do your training, learn the basic, get the skills, start, your business, set things like it's like a plug and play. So you plug it and the automation system takes off and takes care of things for you while you do other things. So that is how to gain time back. That is how to create the 2 hours. You create 2 hours, or you can gain those 2 hours back by growing something alongside your career. No matter your profession, no matter what you do now as an employee, it's essential, especially if you're an immigrant, especially if you're a parent and you want to be like, a present mom to your, to your family, to your kids. So you can create something on the side. You can create something on the side, even, with your career. And that is exactly what this kind of business, the automation system, digital system, does for you. A business where you don't have to sell anything to anybody. You're not cold calling anybody. You're not throwing parties. You're not, hauling luggage or taking things to anybody or calling people to patronize you. You don't even need your family or your friends for you to succeed. So that's where it comes in. So, but the goal is not to escape work. The goal is to create margin, create something sustainable, create something you can do in the future. So something you can leverage as you, find rest and all of that. So how do you plan to start creating those 2 hours, and what would you do with those 2 hours? So if you have been hearing me, if asking yourself this question, if this question like stirs any action or reaction in you to be like, okay, so what would you do if you truly had 2 hours? Then it's time to reach out and just ask me more about this question, about this business. It's time to register your name on my website, which is highlighted in blue here, to just explore. Signing up with your name doesn't make you that you are committing to anything. It's just getting more information. It's just exploring. It's just for you to make an informed choice and know, okay, is this really what you want to do? Because as long as you're on social media, you can all do this business. So using the same time that we spend on social media, to still use it, maximize it to the point of earning while still doing every single thing you're doing. Right? So 2 hours a day can change your life. Time is the only one thing you can't earn back. So, and rest is not a reward. Rest is a need. So thank you again for your time. I am happy I'm making it within the 15 minutes that I wanted to make it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following me. Thank you for taking action. And thank you for all the questions I get in my DM. So if this resonates with you, if this stirs any action in you, you can DM me, message me, comment, and let's take it from there. And if you have my WhatsApp number, you can chat me on my WhatsApp as well. Thank you and have a blessed night. See you again. Bye.